Good morning, everybody. Hello, Chase and Anik and Kathy. So here we are again. It's Monday. The weekend's over. So many things come through my mind and my heart to talk about. And I wonder what it is that you don't know that you might find interesting to know about. The thought of control came to me. For most people are controlling, and because they're controlling, don't even have an awareness of it, or how it looks, or how it makes other people feel, which in effect gives you another whole level of lessons to learn. Good morning, Prime 3 and Cavell. So that's a possibility. But I think the most important thing I thought to do, and maybe we'll start tomorrow, is you're on your path. That's evident. But do you really know what the path means? Being on the initiatory path is becoming a disciple and going through, there are 7 initiations through to your ascension. And it is written very clearly what will need to occur within you in your perceptions of the world and yourself and how you hear and act and what you do to let you have a guideline of, well, where am I? I would say that probably most of you are on your path but aren't exactly sure where you're at, or what have you accomplished, or what is there that you could be doing to enhance that. So I think that's what we'll start tomorrow, if you would like. So if you don't think you would like that, let me know. But I know it's a big question for people. Where am I? Where am I at on my journey? And you have to remember that the path to ascension is a long one. It can take many lifetimes to achieve it. I believe in the time that the world itself is getting prepared to ascend, many people are coming perhaps to the end, but only if you have gotten to a place to understand what that really means and what it's taken in evolution for you to come to that point. Because if you're in the beginning, that's not a bad thing. It could be very quick for you. But there are guidelines and there are necessities of what you need to discover and own about yourself to be going forward. So if you think you would like to hear, and there's very important keys you can hear in each level of initiation to discern whether that's where you are or are you ahead of that. I have found in my journey that people usually think they're further than they are. So if that were true, then it's a good thing to really hear what the initiations are set forth by the hierarchy of the masters, so you would know to make sure you bring into actual existence those things that need to occur. And it's all about light quotient. It's how much light are you allowing in consciousness to come into your field. Now, as I sit where I am, not everyone's light is as bright as the others, and that's not a comparison. It's to let you understand that it's a big piece. You know, levels of, there's 352 levels to the Mahatma, which is to your I am presence, your monad. So that's a lot of places you have to go through and discern and achieve. And many you might not even know about. So to become a disciple and even choose to be on the path is an interesting decision in itself. So it's a serious decision. It's one that this is how I want to live. This is how I believe in God. This is how much the love of God within me means to me. And you want to become that one, that pure soul. And you can remember that essence, even though yet you can't manifest it. So it's about seeing and hearing and manifesting and all those wonderful things. But to be eloquent about it, to be efficient with it. And as you do that, you'll begin to feel your aura, not only within you, but that you'll see it come out and around you. So as we have conversations, I thought it might be interesting to go through the process. And it's not like I'm going to call anyone out and say, well, this is who you are. If you want to know that, you can call me and have a reading about where you're exactly at and where you're going, how it's seen from what is in your aura at this time. You can do that. But if we just read what the initiations mean, I think you're going to have an aha. And we probably will read up to 1, 2, and 3. And you'll find that will reach out to most of you. And yes, there are 7. So there is a point in time where you choose to serve the universe and God and give up the glamour of living in this world, I can say. And that soul will be very evolved and have an understanding. So let's go to control today, because that is a level that is at one level of ascension. And you may say to me, well, I'm not controlling. And I can understand that. Controlling people usually don't see it because it is ingrained so much into their personality. Also, it's an understanding that you move out of personality when you begin to move on the initiation level. And what does I mean? What do I mean by that? The 4 lower levels of your 7 chakras or personality. They are about you and who you were born to be and what the child thought. Moving out of the personality and into those higher chakras begins to move you into a higher state of consciousness and awareness. So, control. Do you find yourself that you need to control situations? Control your space where you live? To what level is it for you? What level is it for you? Do you need to control your behavior? Have you have a judgment or a criticism about yourself that you put into a box and that's the only place you can be? Well, see, all these are about to transfer into a free will. That is what God has given all of us, the ability to have free will. And how we choose to live in this world in our lives. And as we do that and resonate that, then we begin to radiate at that into the world, which does the service to Him, to help more people's heart be free, and to not have it be in these attachments that we talk about, that they have to be acting or talking or thinking a certain way, that it's all allowable when there's love with it instead of judgment, criticism. I would say there's a lot of control going on in our world today. Within people, some of it's out of fear, which we can understand. And I hold a great compassion for those people. But also you can learn to know that as you sit with God inside your heart, there is a safety. Not if you go and act crazy, But as long as you act in respect of yourself and his light, there is a place where it'll be given back to you to keep you safe. So, control. Control is interesting when it comes to other people, because sometimes you want to blame other people for how things make you feel when it's actually how you're feeling inside yourself. And the blame just takes off to other people because it's easier. Because when a lot of you were small, your parents didn't teach you to understand yourself and how not being in control would look. It's no judgment. It's part of the human personality that we tend to hear our ego. Yes, and what is the ego? It is one of the 144,000 parts of ourself that wants to be the one that helps you survive. Because in our younger years, that's the only thing we really think about. How am I going to survive? Do you remember having that thought? When it came time, and maybe even to choose a school, or you're not going to school, and where am I going? What am I doing? This is a lot of pressure. And your parents also added that concern. You got to figure out your life. You got to do something. Well, I'm here to say, if you can move into loving yourself, those things will follow. And that's a very interesting thought to have, isn't it? I find that in loving, things that I should not experience or should not do end up showing themselves very clearly, and I don't step that way. And it's happened many times. And times when I went ahead and stepped that way, I wasn't really either physically or mentally hurt, because it was a lesson to really get that God is there. So I'm trying to explain to you that the probationary path, the disciple path, is all, you could say, very challenging, but you really do learn about you and why. Why do you do the things you do? How do you feel about the things the way you do? And in that, those 144,000 pieces begin to just fall away, and they become light. And all of a sudden, you're light no matter where you go. And that person comes over and says, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And you don't know why, because they see you. They may not know that they do, but they do. A part of everybody has light. And the greatest thing is when little babies at the mall just kind of want to run to you because they see the big light that you are. Because they can see. Little children can see. They can't speak it yet, but they can see who people are. As you go around in your life, take a look and watch. And I'm sure babies want to reach out for you because they feel your love, they see your light, and it's all wonderful. So, does anyone want to jump in with this conversation with me, either about control or being on the path? You know, there's so many pieces and so many levels. You know, we are all given gifts. You may have thought that, well, some people have this one and some people have that one. Well, and some part of the gifts are their greatest gift. Well, usually your greatest gift is where that one point will always be where you have an issue. Like, my greatest gift is my throat. But for a sign of anything, it goes right to my throat. And every time it's over, it's always more beautiful because it's God's voice, not mine. And it's how it clears. So if you're someone who doesn't see real clearly or hear real clearly, it's because you need to get clear more within your own consciousness and how you think and perceive and thrive in the world. And it eventually will come. And you'll have all the senses. All of you will as you grow, as you allow things to be let go. So, control. Mother is saying she'll still bring you back to control because controlling in the past has been it's an energy that she's showing me of squeezing the life out of you because it holds you onto seeing the distortion in people, and it is always that we're to see the love in people without criticism or judgment. And when you're in control, you actually have a puppet over your head moving you. Having you be separate, not letting you be free. You know, there are 4 types of patterns. There's about you, and there's about them, and there's about God, and there's the ones that are about somewhere in life you've given your power away to other people, and you have to heal them. And what kind of person does this talk about? People that were of the lower life we would perceive and did things for other people to achieve something, maybe their own life. But that patterning also needs to go. And while you may not know that about yourself now, as you go to work and evolve yourself, you will find, we are all one. It isn't that just one person has all those things. Karma is a very interesting thing. And the gift that Saint Germain brought was the violet flame, which let us use the violet flame and heal karma, versus us have to live it out and have me find you if I had karma with you so we could talk about it and get rid of it. It's not how it is anymore. But there are things in your life that happen that are karmic, and then you are set free. So in using the violet flame, you're going to begin to not have that happen because you will ask it to blaze through and transform any karma that you have. It may not happen in one day, but as you work with it, you will see the difference. Still no questions today, huh? And I feel like I'm touching a number of various topics. Let me see if I move this. Oh. And yes, of course, love is always the base. Whatever the love is you have today will grow beyond what you can think. And that is the gift of it all. You may be saying to me, I don't have control. I don't have those issues. And I'm going to say, start working on yourself. And they will come up whether or not you like them or not, whether or not you think you do or not. Because the one thing that's evident is we like to hide things inside ourselves. We like to lock them away. We like to not talk about them. We like to not be reminded about them. So being the disciple on the path is being prepared to unwind and unlock many, many things that we don't want to talk about, see about, know about, feel about. I was working with someone the other day, and it was very recent when something released similar to what they had discovered about themselves. And isn't timing interesting? So don't ever think that it all doesn't mean something, because there are no mistakes. Every occurrence that happens to you has a purpose, has a reason, no matter what you think, and no matter who you think you are. It's all purposeful. You do all have a blueprint that was created long before you came in, and you're aware of it, not in your awakening spirit, but certain aspects of yourself is written on that blueprint that, oh, well, maybe you're going to feel controlling. Maybe you're going to be selfish. That's what's on the blueprint. What yet this lifetime you're going to go through to evolve. So it's very interesting, very, very interesting, when you really go upon the path and you start looking at yourself. And then as you grow, you begin to be prepared, and it will be a thought, and it'll take you right into where that's from, so that you can bring love to it and be grateful for the experience it's brought you in life to move forward. So whoever's still here, I thank you for listening to me. But today was about the path you're on and what you think about it and how you feel about it. And it isn't just, I don't know what the just would be, whatever it is. It's a serious thing. It's about evolving the human you and allowing the spirit to be free. For we are all spirit. And if someone has a question for me, I'll answer. Marmy gives me praying hands. And yes, that path does take you toward ascension, but the initiations of the path and the ascension are one and the same. You can't really be on one without the other. That's how it's done. And it's been through ages of time. And once you begin to work with a master, your path changes and you move into another level of initiation and having support and understanding, and your work and your evolution becomes in a new depth. So it's just process. It's just evolution. So here's Kathy. I have heard of the path, but are in a stall at this time. Well, if I may be honest, I understand that. Because is this what I really want to do? And so you need to know the ego is doing the stalling. It's giving you excuses and reasons and doubt. Doubt is still existent, and the personality still listens to it. And it's in that third dimension. So as you begin your path, you will move into the fourth and fifth dimension and no longer hear it. But if you're saying you're stalled, I would say you're definitely in third dimension and allowing the ego, who's probably been an old accomplice, I'll call it, not so much a friend, because he wants to be the one that has you think it's helped you survive. But it isn't true. He has nothing to do but want to steal your truth from you. So we all want to begin to hear the ego as it speaks to us in the mind, or the actions that it attempts to have us do, and choose to let your heart speak instead. That's the difference. The path, I'm sure you've heard of it, and it's the most empowering, wonderful experience, one you'll never forget. Because you have to remember all these lifetimes we've all lived, they're because we came to be on the path. And we bring into one life what was in yet another life. And we may start then below it, but we will get back to where we were and clear yet another level, because we'll know from our blueprint what we were to heal this life. So very Very good question, Kathy, and I hope I've helped answer it. So I would suggest that you become quiet and to go not in your head, but go into your heart and ask for a Father to come there to you and see what he says to you or feels. Maybe even if you don't hear yet, ask for the feeling of the love it can guide you to. Because this pain and anguish in this world is not going to do anyone any good, other than eventually one day they'll move away from it. But we're here in this moment. And if you've been drawn here, part of what I'm here to do is to help you understand that that's not your truth. The truth is you are all very powerful beings. And yet we haven't all discovered what that is yet. But you could. She says, thank you. You're welcome, Kathy. And, I was very awake when I was little. And then, school happens, boys happen. So I was in my 30s when I was hit with 5 car accidents behind me. One time, 3 different cars. And I had to stop and think, what's going on? And I went to this lady. My chiropractor says, you need to go see my mom. She does some kind of weird thing, but I think you'll like it. And that day, she did what was called one brain. And she straightened out my brain, and she had a stack of books this high. And from that stack, one book fell on the floor. And it was opening to channeling. And I went home, and I heard my higher self. I heard about everything, and I remembered. But that's how it happened to me, and there's nowhere else I could be but on my path. I had to keep finding out more. I had to keep and know more who my higher self was and why was he here with me. Yeah. So it's life-changing. It's life-changing. Who are you? You're not that personality person. It may feel good and have wonderful things, but when the lights are out and you're there under the stars, there's more of you. And I think that's always the biggest thing. I still always look to the stars. I knew I was from the stars. And I would think that maybe perhaps all of you feel the same way. So the path is rewarding. At times it can bring a great sadness, but you understand how to begin to embrace that sadness with the love that you start to know, and how the magic of God's light is that it's love. And the more you work with that love, the more you are then becoming love. So, unless someone else has a question for me, I'm going to do you a favor, I guess, and stop babbling today. So today was about the path. Choosing, not choosing. I might still talk a couple places unless I hear from someone that they don't want to hear it. How you begin to know by these initiations what part of the path you're on. And even if you find and you're on number 1, that doesn't mean, oh no, it means, wow, I can get that. I can make sense. Because you can always gently move forward, embracing all of it. We talked about control. So everybody today can think about, how do you control yourself, your life, your household, the one you may love the most? It's all very interesting. All very interesting. But the more we learn about ourselves, the more we grow. And the more there's love and acceptance and forgiveness. All right. So many blessings to all of you today. I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit intense, perhaps. But why not? It's Monday. You just rested up for over the weekend, right? I will see you tomorrow at 11. Many blessings. Thank you.